In today's video, we're talking about a PS5 that you shouldn't sleep on, the best PS5 deal yet, and a huge lawsuit that could be the end of PlayStation.
Snake, are you okay? Snake?
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to PSReady. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving week. I was able to take a couple days off. I just noticed Black Friday sucked this year. It was like just normal sales that they already had going on. Then they said they were Black Friday sales, but then now that Black Friday is over, a lot of the same stuff is on sale, and a lot of the sales started after Black Friday. I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. As for what games I played, Alan Wake's American Nightmare, I played through that on my Steam Deck OLED. That game is like heavily slept on. If you have a PC or an Xbox, you should definitely try it out. I don't think they ever released it on the PlayStation 4 or 5, but the original Alan Wake is great too, and I'm like 3/4 through Alan Wake 2 right now, and this is a game on PS5 that last video I said looks like it might be the best looking game I've ever played. I think it is the best looking game I've ever played. I saw a couple comments saying there's no way. I'm telling you, just go play it, because you're not going to play a better looking game, at least this year, but probably if you went back and played anything else, it wouldn't live up to this. It's incredible. Anyway, the first thing I want to talk about, I was scrolling through Twitter this morning and I saw a tweet about the Cobalt Blue PS5, and this is the Deep Earth collection where they've got the red, they've got the sterling silver, and Cobalt Blue. The blue was the one that wasn't totally coming through right on Twitter or on trailers or anything like that. I thought it was just like a normal old blue, but they have it in this tweet compared side by side with the PS3 Slim that was in the same blue color, and that was one of my favorite looking PS3s ever. So having seen that one in real life and then seeing this image of the new Cobalt Blue plates for the PS5, I think this might be one of the better looking plate combos that you can get for your PlayStation. Unfortunately, these only work on the original PS5, which was on deep fire sale over the weekend, so you might have gotten one, or if you're one of the like millions of people who got one during the first couple years of the PS5's life cycle, that doesn't really affect you. But if you're someone like me who has two PS5s, I've got one upstairs, I've got one down here, I really like that Cobalt Blue look. So it sucks that on my new PS5 that's white, I don't have new plates for it that are black or anything. I would honestly love to grab some of these blue plates for it, just because it reminds me of the PS3 that my friends had back in the day that I was always like so jealous of. It honestly makes me want to get a better look at the volcanic red or sterling silver ones. The sterling silver might be pretty cool. You know what that reminds me of? Speaking of the PS3, the one way back before the PS3 came out, when they revealed it, it was this color, this sterling silver color, this muted matte silver that was sort of glossy at the same time, and that was when they had the Wavebird controller. So there's a lot of PS3 nostalgia with the PS5 so far, between these between these Deep Earth Collection plates and now the between these Deep Earth Collection plates and the DualSense Edge, which comes along with those just amazing sticks that I'm nostalgic for, the stick caps that are the DualShock ones, you know, the DualShock 1, 2, and 3 ones. It's so cool that Sony included that with the DualSense Edge. But yeah, maybe give this plate combo a look, and if you want to check it out, make sure you grab it before it goes away, because as we're going to talk about a little bit later on in the video, Sony is heavily trying to get rid of the current PlayStation 5. This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Surfshark keeps you safe online by encrypting your data and hiding you from people who want to do bad things with it. It literally encrypts all of the information sent between your device and the internet, and that keeps you safe. It also swaps your real location with one that you can pick from anywhere around the world, which can come in really handy. You guys know I play on everything, so one of the coolest tricks you can do with Surfshark VPN is switch your region to New Zealand on your Xbox Series X, and by doing that, you can play games up to 24 hours early, which is awesome. I also use Surfshark to stop ISPs from throttling my data, so like when I'm downloading a big game, sometimes it'll be really fast when I start the download, but after like 15 minutes or so, it'll really drop in speeds, but then when I switch on my VPN, it really makes things a lot faster. Surfshark also has a clean web feature that blocks ads, trackers, malware, and phishing attempts, which allows you to surf the web safely. And it masks your IP address, which is essential to becoming private online. It hides things like your city, your country, and your download location, so you'll be safe knowing that no one knows where you are. They also have Surfshark Alert, which protects you from data breaches and gives you real-time alerts, Surfshark Antivirus, which keeps your device virus-free, and Surfshark Search, which hides you from search providers and gives you truly organic results. Surfshark is also running a Black Friday deal, so when you're checking out, use the code PSReady or head to surfshark.deals/PSReady and you'll get up to 6 months free. Once again, huge shout out to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Actually, we're just going to talk about it right now. So one of the biggest sales sales over the weekend that like happened so far after I made my Black Friday deals video, which really pissed me off. I couldn't include it. The biggest deal that I saw completely like across the board was that Target actually had the original PlayStation 5 for $350. Now, I've had mixed results before in the past where when you get a fire sale like this, where it's like a deep discount, especially compared to like Amazon or Best Buy or Walmart, I've had really mixed results on actually getting them to price match it at other stores. So you kind of probably had to go to Target to get this deal, but $350 for a PlayStation 5 is absolutely insane. That puts it in the realm of something like the Xbox Series S, which, as we all know, is like a severely underpowered console compared to the current PS5 or even the original one, which was on sale for the MSRP. The reason I'm being like specific that the MSRP I think is $350 is because I've seen the Series S go as low as like $225, maybe even as low as $200. So you can get it cheaper than this PS5 deal. But I mean, we all know that the deal you're getting paying $350 for a PlayStation 5 is absolutely wild. And knowing that the PS5 Slim for the first time is not really an upgrade in any way other than size and kind of storage, like you get a couple hundred more gigabytes out of it, big whoop, it's pretty much the exact same console that you were getting for this $350 deal. So yeah, I think that was definitely worth it. And the reason, even though the deal has passed, that I'm pointing it out today is because just like I was talking about at the beginning of the video, Black Friday is weird this year. It seems to be spread out and a lot longer than Black Friday. So if Sony really is trying as hard as it seems like they are to get rid of the original PlayStation 5, this deal will most likely pop up again. And I've definitely seen it in the past where when Target opens the floodgates early and puts a thing on sale for a super cheap price, Amazon will usually come in a week or two later with the exact same deal. Now there's always like some caveat, like you might need Amazon Prime, or at Best Buy you might need to have their drop app set up where they do Best Buy drops, and that's how you were getting like Amiibo and things like that earlier this year. But still, I think this is definitely worth it. And if you're sitting there wondering like, should I get my kid or should I get for myself the original PS5 or go for the newest one, for that price, get the original. You're not losing out on anything other than size. They're both, you know, admittedly not the best looking consoles in the world. I've really come around on the PS5 Slim, which is right there, which is why I keep looking at it. I can't pick. Like some days I think the original looks better. Some days I think the Slim looks better. Also, I kind of scaled back on talking about SSDs because even I was getting annoyed by it, but they are massively on sale right now. So if you do pick up a PS5 Slim or that original one, if you can get it for $350, you should probably grab an SSD. Some of these are going to be affiliates. Some of them aren't. If you see a Best Buy link, you should use that because I'll get a little bit of a kickback. But there's a Samsung drive, another Samsung drive, and a WD Black drive on sale. The Samsung 980 Pro, which is in my PS5, my original one upstairs, that is like my tried and true classic drive. You guys all know that is on sale right now, the 2TB edition with the heatsink for $120, which is just bottom of the barrel pricing on one of the fastest SSDs out there. I absolutely love it. It's hard to like say that one SSD is better than the other because they all do the same thing and it's not something you really look at all that much once it's inside your PlayStation 5, but I was sponsored by it a couple of years ago and I got it for free, so you know, take what I say with a grain of salt, but I really liked it. Then you've got Corsair's drive, which I'm pretty sure, so back when I did my video where I compared all the drives, I'm pretty sure this is the one that I also included in that video, and this drive didn't have problems per se. It was just like heavily misadvertised how fast the speeds were going to be. Like it was markedly slower than the box said it was going to be. It still didn't really make that much of a difference. It was like a couple seconds when you were transferring games or downloading them. That just kind of bugged me. But the reason I might recommend it right now is that it's on sale for $110, which is the cheapest I've seen for these 2TB drives with the heatsink. The heatsink's really what throws it out of whack here, because if you want to get like a 2TB WD Black SN850 without the heatsink, that's like $99 across the board all the time. But having that heatsink on there, it causes problems because they have to increase the price, I guess. But you could buy the WD Black that doesn't have the heatsink, get a heatsink on Amazon and then apply it yourself and probably still save some money. But if you don't want to go through that, you can get the brand new Samsung drive, the 990 Pro, for honestly an extremely fair price of $140. I'm not a huge fan of how different the look is of this drive. Like I don't read the actual titles on Best Buy when I'm scrolling through to collect these for the video. I kind of just look at the pictures of the drives, and this one looks so different from the 980 Pro that I was like, wait, is that a Samsung drive? But yes, it is. It is kind of cool looking. Once again, once it's in your PlayStation 5, you're not really going to see it. But yeah, 140 bucks for that I think is totally worth it. If I had to pick between the three, I'm just going to stick with the 980 Pro because it's the second cheapest. Yeah, it's the second cheapest at 120 bucks. You get 2 terabytes of storage, you get great speed. It's tried and true for me. It's never had an issue. I record pretty much every game I play to it. I download everything to it. I'm constantly deleting stuff, taking screenshots, moving things to an SSD like externally from it, and it's exactly the same as the day I got it. So that's why I really have no problem recommending it. And the last thing I want to talk about today is this huge lawsuit that Sony is facing. Like, it's an $8 billion lawsuit directly aimed at PlayStation. It was a thing earlier this year when it was actually like announced, and basically what it is a class action lawsuit that's being brought in the UK against Sony, because in the UK, according to the Sacred Symbols podcast, which is like my favorite PlayStation podcast, they were talking about it. In the UK, you can sue people for things like libel or, you know, consumer rights stuff like this, and it's generally easier to get that to go through and actually cause an impact in the UK than it is here in the United States. And I guess the lawyer who's doing all this, he's done this before. He's a big consumer rights lawyer. He has had mixed results. He's not like 100% positive wins or anything like that, but it is enough where I think Sony should be worried about this. And I think this is so dumb. So what this lawsuit is actually all about is, like, when you buy a game on the PlayStation Store, the Xbox Store, or Steam, 30% of that game's profit, or like the cut, so like if you buy Alan Wake 2, for example, for 60 bucks on the PlayStation Store, PlayStation gets 30% of that sale. And the reasoning for that is that they're providing the storefront and the console that you're playing the game on, right? Like, this game would not have any eyes on it at all without Xbox, without PlayStation, without Steam. So they're taking a little bit of a cut off the top. Now, there's been a huge argument between developers and fans and, I guess, corporations in the past about whether or not that 30% cut is fair or not. And it's like nuanced, because if you're an indie dev, when you're already fighting for like front page status on places like Steam and Xbox, and on PlayStation you have to pay for it, them taking 30% off the top of it on something that you're selling far less copies of than a game like Alan Wake 2, for example, that really sucks and can hurt your bottom line on something that you're only charging like maybe $10, $15, $20 for, right? Like, there is a legitimate argument there. And then on top of that, you take a game like Hogwarts Legacy, where it's not a second party game, but a lot of people just look at that game and maybe think it's a PlayStation exclusive, not only because it has exclusive quests on PlayStation, but also because of the marketing deals Sony makes, where they say, hey, we want to market this game as like a PlayStation game. We want to make sure that we get the state of play reveals. We want to make sure all the trailers have a bumper on it that's like PlayStation 5 branded. We want to make sure that people know this game is awesome on PlayStation. So this time around, whereas we usually would take 30% off the top, we're only going to take 18%, and we're heavily going to market the game. And then Warner Brothers is like, hell yeah, that's a great deal. We're going to pay you less on every sale of the game, which means we'll make more money, and you'll probably cover a lot of the marketing for us. So it's really a win-win. So we don't really suffer in any way for it, but what this lawsuit is alleging is that we do suffer. They're saying that, like, developers and publishers take into account that they're going to have to give Sony, Steam, Microsoft, but in this case Sony, 30% of every sale, so they boost games prices by about 30%, and then we have to pay it like as if it's a tax, but not really. Like, we're paying 30% more than we should. I just disagree with this lawsuit completely, because we have heard over and over again for years now that while yes, it does suck that full price games are now $70, game prices have not kept up with inflation. Like, the thing that we have to blame outside of people actually buying them for microtransactions and the free-to-play-ization of AAA like full price games is the fact that in our lifetime, like, games were $50 in the PS2 generation, they were $60 in the PS3 generation, they were $60 in the PS4 generation, and then they only bumped it up $10 for the PS5 generation to $70, and that's not even covering anything in terms of like getting rid of microtransactions and other shit that we hate in games that nickel and dime the hell out of us. But the reason for that is because game budgets have totally ballooned and the price has not kept up. So knowing that we're not really paying what we should, I feel weird saying that. Knowing that we're not paying what games should cost now, it's like, I just don't think this lawsuit really holds any water. And the cool thing for Sony is the decision that was made. I see every website making it seem like this lawsuit is like, oh, it's gonna happen and it's really gonna hurt Sony. The decision that was made is like that this lawsuit can go through. Like Sony was trying to block it and say like, this is bullshit, this isn't anything worth even worrying about. And then the UK government was like, no, we are going to let this go through because we need to focus on things like this and not, I don't know, the skyrocketing power bill prices in the UK that I'm hearing about all the time. So this lawsuit's probably going to go through, but I really don't think it's going to end up being anything that we have to worry about, because at the end of the day, it seems like Sony's going to come out on top and there's just going to be legal fees that they have to pay. It's just funny to see stuff like this where Xbots go on Twitter and say like, this is the end of Sony. This $8 billion lawsuit is going to kill them. Oh my God, like it's a fact that they're going to die from this. And then you see stuff like right after where it's like Spider-Man 2, 4 million people have completed the game and 1 million of those people have platinumed it. Like 1 million out of 4 million people who have completed it thought it was a good enough game to 100% it, and it's the 4th best-selling game of the year in just a month. It's doing amazing on just the PlayStation 5 without the PS4 kind of propping it up, and then you've got people acting like PlayStation's gonna die. So I think we're safe here. I just wanted to tell you about this lawsuit because $8 billion, it's nothing to sneeze at, right? It's just like, you look at the headline and then you look at what actually is happening and you realize it's being totally overblown. I mean, what else is new? It's Tuesday. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Make sure you let me know what you think down in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and set your notifications to all if you haven't already. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching and shape on.